It has been revealed recently that God of War, the upcoming God of War sequel that everyone's referring to as Ragnarok, is delayed, or has been delayed to 2022. Now, technically, this is strange because technically the game was never actually given a release date in the first place. And so anyone who thought that this game was coming out this year, I don't know where that thought, popped up in your head or, why. But yeah, this game was never coming out this year. So that's not really surprising. And this isn't really the point of what I'm making this video for. I don't give a shit about the new God of War, like, at all. It's highly unlikely that I'm going to play it unless my subscribers request for me to play it. That's really the only way that I'll ever waste time on God of War, the upcoming God of War sequel, because I do not like what they did with the reboot, the 2018 game. Yeah, that wasn't for me. So I don't care about that. But what does interest me about this is that PlayStation Studios head Herman Hulst, he came out and basically confirmed that this game, God of War Ragnarok, otherwise known as God of War 2, is coming to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And not only is that coming to PlayStation 4, but Gran Turismo 7 is also coming to PlayStation 4 as well. And not only that, but Horizon Forbidden West is also coming to PlayStation 4, which was already announced last year. So what this means is that Sony, because initially they announced that Horizon Forbidden West was the only one that was coming to PS4, and they were pretty strict on, emphasizing the fact that God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok, whatever you want to call it, was a game that was intended to be a PS5 exclusive, but they have since reversed that. And now it's been announced that, some of these other so-called PS5 exclusives are now also coming to PS4, which means that they are cross-gen titles. Cross-gen meaning that they were developed for PS4 and they're just being upscaled for PS5. That's basically what that means. And so they were first developed on PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation 4 in mind, and graphically they're just receiving updates to give them a visual kick for the PlayStation 5. But what this really means, because some people think this is a good thing, this is not a good thing at all. If anything, it's a bad move by Sony. It's good for the consumer because it means that you don't have to buy a PlayStation 5 in order to play these games. You can play them on the system that you already own. At the same time, this is a bad move, and it's really bad news because what it means is that there's no reason to buy a PlayStation 5. And I've been saying this since before the console actually came out. Sony has basically invalidated any reason for anyone to go out and buy a PlayStation 5. And the only people that have a PlayStation 5 now are the die-hard fans who just had to have the system, regardless of, really taking the time and researching what was available on the console or what was going to be available on the console months leading into the console's lifespan during the first year. And I made a video well over a year ago, I think 2 years ago, basically saying that I was going to wait until 6 months after the PlayStation 5 has been out and it's been on the market before I make my decision as to whether or not I'm going to get the console. And here we are 6 months later, and yeah, I don't see the value in this thing at all. You may as well just buy a fucking PC. And if you already have a PS4, which odds are you do, you may as well just stick with that because there's no reason to go out and buy a PlayStation 5. There's only 3 true PlayStation 5 exclusives that are on the console right now. That is Demon Souls, which is a remake to an old-ass fucking game. Returnal, which that's not even worth the $70 that Sony's asking for it. Part of that is really just the type of game that Returnal is, along with the fact that you can't save your fucking progress in the middle of missions, which is stupid. And the third of these is Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is going to be a fantastic game. I have no doubts about that. Ratchet and Clank is arguably my favorite video game franchise at the moment. I've been a huge Ratchet and Clank fan since the very beginning, since 2002. But one game is not worth going out and spending money on a $400, $500 video game console that doesn't have any fucking games right now. Now, I'm sure, a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to start to see more true PS5 exclusives, but for right now, that's not the case. Horizon Forbidden West is going to be on PS4, Gran Turismo 7 is going to be on PS4, and God of War Ragnarok is also going to be on PS4. Oh, and for you Final Fantasy fans, I can't play Intergrade. I can't play Intergrade unless I go out and buy a PS5. Yeah, just wait 6 months. Wait a few months. After December the 10th, yeah, that shit's not going to be a PS5 exclusive anymore. They're going to release the Yuffie DLC. They're going to release that on PS4. And the Final Fantasy VII Remake itself, the game itself, will eventually come to Xbox and PC. You can guarantee that. Square Enix is not that stupid to keep their titles, their multi-platform titles, on one system. I don't even know why they're making exclusivity deals, timed exclusivity deals with Sony. It really doesn't make any sense. And even for the games already that have come out that are multi-platform games, well, one's a multi-platform game and then the other one's a PlayStation exclusive, but they're cross-gen titles for games that have been released on both PS4 and PS5. There's really no difference. Exhibit A, graphically. This is coming from GameSpot's review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Take a listen here.
The game does look better on PS5, but it isn't a drastic difference. After extensive testing on PS5, the consensus among GameSpot staff is that the technical features provided by PS5's DualSense controller don't add anything meaningful to the gameplay either, so you're getting a similar experience whether you're playing on PS4 or PS5.
So, you're getting a similar experience regardless of what system you play on. And I was saying this months ago, my retrospective for Spider-Man Miles Morales came from PS4. That was PS4 footage, and it doesn't look drastically different on PS5. You're not getting that much of a boost in graphical capability from PS4 to PS5 right now. And part of that is because the system just came out. And it's going to be the same with Horizon Forbidden West and God of War and Gran Turismo, because these games were developed with PS4 in mind first, and they're just being upscaled to PS5. So you're not going to get a major difference in graphics. There's actually a law that Sony has to abide by, that they're not going to release any game that has too much of a boost in graphical capability on PS5, like on one system versus another. There's guidelines that these companies have to abide by. Same goes with Resident Evil Village. If you take a look here at the difference between PS4, PlayStation 4 on the left, and PlayStation 5 on the right, you're not going to notice a big difference. One is in 1080p on PS4 and in 4K on PS5, and there's very little difference. If you look at this from side to side, the PS5 version looks a little bit darker. The PS4 version looks more defined in certain areas. If anything, the PS4 version looks better than the PS5 version. The same can be said for Spider-Man Remastered, which came with the so-called Ultimate Edition or whatever it was called for Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's not a huge leap in graphics at all. What is the point of going out and spending money on the PlayStation 5 right now? People who are really serious about video games and take the hobby seriously, they've given those people, the hardcore audience, no reason to go out and spend money on this new system. They've given no reason to do that. And this is on top of the fact that they've announced that they're not participating in this year's E3. And just about every state of play besides their most recent one, which focused on Horizon Forbidden West, just about every state of play that they've had has been underwhelming and has been filled with indie games and multi-platform titles that you can find either on Xbox or PC. Again, what is the point? They need to come up with a firm game plan and actually communicate with customers, communicate with their fans. Because if they don't, the PlayStation 5 is not going to be the success story that was the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 has over 110 million units sold. The PlayStation 5 only has around, I think, 7 million, and most of that it comes from the die-hard audience. After the die-hard crowd dies down and they already have the systems in their households, all that's left is the casual audience, and the casuals are the people that you need to convince to buy your system. You're not going to convince the casual audience to buy your new platform, which is the PlayStation 5, if you keep releasing exclusives on the PS4. It's not going to happen.